And I'm gonna try to answer a question from Brana, and this is for Michael. So Michael's still here. So Brana asked about how should hotels respond, whether it's strategically and tactically, to the trends mentioned in your presentation, to accommodate the changes in lifestyles and the changes in work, etc. So I noticed also I had a note from earlier. Your presentation earlier about, you know, the changing relationship with work and how that also, from my point of view, it's Citizen M is perhaps the first to kind of introduce flex in roles, right? So you have role flexibility for your employees, and so how beyond that, I think if you could elaborate a little bit more of how your approach is, and perhaps how other hotels could actually go about doing this as well.
Yeah, sure. I think a really great question. I think what I would say is that I think, as I mentioned in the presentation at the start, you know, really starting with listening to your teams and getting to understand the real problem. I think that's what I reflect on and have learned, that sometimes what people say they want is not what they need, you know, and I think that really taking that time to understand it is so crucial. And you know, we think of, yeah, the employees as my customer, you know, so I think it's really understanding the needs and the real problem of the customer, and taking time for that, and maybe getting some external help there too. I think that we've also worked with an external company to also help us, you know, do some, you know, real anonymous surveys, etc., to really understand what's really going on. I think first of all, and I think as well, being transparent, I think is super crucial, because you know, we can't do everything as well as an employer, right? We're also a hotel at the end of the day, and we never close the doors. We're open 365 days of the year. It is hospitality, you know, so there's the good and the ugly side of the job. So I think it's been really transparent with people about the roles, and then also transparent in what we are going to do about it, you know. So we've tried to create in our online platform for internal employees, we've created a roadmap of, you know, what is it that we're working on with everything to do with the employee experience, so they can see what's coming up, see what we're actively working on, and also what we are not doing as well, because we cannot do everything. And I think, keeping our eyes open and understanding what we can do in the future. We've gone to a hybrid way of working for our office staff, so that they can work from the office, but they can work from a hotel, they can work from around the world, depending on where they are. So we've made some big changes to how things were in 2019 in that sense. And for the hotel teams, we need to be in the hotel, of course, but we've tried to use, smart scheduling, etc., to add in even more flexibility, take into account people's personal lives as much as possible. So, I hope that answers the question a little bit in that sense, but it's a tricky one and something that we continue to need to look at.
Great. No, thank you very much. And actually, the second question is again for you, and I think there's a lot of there are many questions in this. So and it's related to your Mamba app. So how was the app developed? How were operations team members engaged in the process? And did you have feedback from the frontline employees using it? Is there training associated with the launch of the app? Are people happy with it? And what's your plan going forward?
Yeah, I think also a really great question, and very relevant actually at the moment, because what we're doing now as a company-wide is we're going through an agile transformation. Mm-hmm. So going from that, more department operational setup to more of an agile company, where we are almost removing the departments of HR, marketing, and tech, and really going to more of an agile way and using it based on skills and expertise. But I think what's important about that there is because it's more of the mentality that we've really gone to, okay, what is the customer and what does the employee need from this? And we've created user stories around how the app could look like for the employee, and built it from there, and released the app in small stages. So we first of all created a minimal viable product, an MVP, and all the app could do, I think this was 1 year ago, all the app could do was view the occupancy and check someone in. So really minimal, right? And we released it in one hotel in Schiphol. But then through that, we got feedback, we learned some new additions, and we started to add some extra functionalities to what it is today. And every 3 months we've introduced it to one new hotel. I think involving the team in that is really important, and we have some Mamba ambassadors, so ambassadors who are really advocates of it, and they actually travel to the next hotel to introduce it to the team. So we have had a lot of great feedback. I think at some points, some aspects of it didn't actually add value where we thought it would to begin with. So I think that early feedback was really important to the teams. There was some hiccups with the technology and the back end, but I think having that agile approach in being quick to change things was really important. And I think the Mamba app will be something that will never be finished. It will always be development and adding things to it. And by the end of the year, in 2 months' time, it will be in every Citizen hotel. So,
perfect. Thank you. So I have a question related to the first question about discussing about the changing lifestyle and the changing relationship, people's relationship with work, people's relationship with money, with essentially, priorities are changing basically. So because of today's topic with technology enhanced work, do you see, so this is open to anyone, I guess all the speakers, do you see what's your expectation about how people view their personal identities? There going to be a change in the ways that we define ourselves professionally, because obviously it's very cultural specific in many countries. You define yourself by your professions, so most of the time when you talk to people, introduce yourself, you talk about what's your name and what you do. And so is there a change? Do you expect a change in people's sort of like professional identity, especially because of the relevance, the prevalence of technology at work, and also partly because of the changing relationship that people have with work and so on, and the workplace and so on? I know it's a little bit perhaps off, we'll learn about quiet quitting and things like this. And so how do you see this going forward? Anyone?
Yes, maybe I could yes. A little bit. So in one of the study, I collaborate with Yao Jin and also another two researchers. We just want to look at how restaurant using service robot may influence customer experience. And then while we're doing the study, we extended the finding and we introduced the technology readiness as a variable. And then we just realized that those robotic restaurants, they're not just providing experiences to customers as like a fun enjoyment. They can also serve as an educational kind of setting and introduce, display and showcase the latest technology available in our field. And customer can use it. And then before they use it, they may think, it's something very, very new. And then the different customers have different level of technology readiness as well as their intention to use it, right? But because they had this experience, if we ask them regarding their perceived technology readiness, we actually discovered that, customers who experience the robotic restaurant, they confident and comfortable with technology. So which is, I think it's a positive outcome we probably didn't expect when we are using technology in the industry, but it's really a positive thing that, our field can make a contribution. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And also, I think traditionally we see employees suffer emotionally and physically in hospitality workplace. But I believe use the usage of technological devices and applications in the workplace, maybe things could change. We have a solution and opportunities to make employees healthier, right? Such as the service robots can not only serve customers, maybe they can have some functional operations to provide massage, to some specific muscle pain to employees, human employees, yes, and maybe those conversational AI and AI service robots, they can not only talk to customers after work hours, they can also be counselors to employees. So those kind of technology can not only provide better support to customers, but also offer more mindfulness, wellness, and health to our employees. That's also my take.
Perfect, thank you. I have one more thing, because Emily mentioned about technology readiness, and so I'm thinking about we're talking about technology, about service robots, about AI, about all kinds of technology that we can adopt into the businesses in hospitality. So my question is there still digital skills gap? How big, if there is, how big do you think the digital skills gap in the industry, and how do we go about bridging those digital skill gaps so that the sector will be ready to embrace technology and basically prepare themselves for the future of work? Anyone?
I think from the HR perspective and also from the educational perspective, that's a task that is not only a challenging task, but it is also something important that we need to do. I think we need to proactively start to consider what kind of essential knowledge and skills and maybe mindset we want to introduce to our students. Although our students, they are the generation that they are born with technology, and they are probably more ready and more comfortable than the teachers. Yeah, but I do think in terms of curriculum design, we do have a role to play. And that we also need closer collaboration with Michael and also other industry partners that, we want to know, where are the gaps, in our curriculum, in our educations, what are essential, like Tracy's study mentioned, from the HR perspective, from the manager's perspective, what are the essential skill and knowledge and support needed? And we need to translate that back to different sources that, the industry, different sources of human capitals we are providing them, from the school level and also from the existing employee level as well.
Yeah, and I think you're probably running out of time. Oh, sorry, Michael, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. One thing I would quickly add to that is that, interestingly enough, we found out recently that really that we had an online learning platform, right? So an online learning on various subjects, from hospitality to leadership to technology, etc., available to all employees. But actually the usage of that went really down after the pandemic came to an end, because people were screen fatigued. And actually what we found out is that people don't want to be in front of the screen anymore after they go home from work and do online learning. So we've actually stopped all online learning in Citizen because our employees asked for that. So we've gone to more coaching, workshop style learning instead of the online learning. So I think, interesting that we thought online learning would be the solution, but actually it's a fatigue for people, right?
Yeah.
So I think
and yet we are doing this, right, the webinar. So hopefully, but hopefully, I think the good thing about this is that you can go back to it and look at the recording and kind of relearn what we've discussed. And I think one more thing also associated with this is the cost, right, of adopting this technology. But I think Brigitte has a few other things to share. So I'll give the floor back to Brigitte.